Dead Rising 2 has been quite an exciting product to work on and quite challenging from a global standpoint because we've got development centered at Capcom Japan in Osaka, and they're working directly with Blue Castle Games, who's up in Vancouver. And at the same time, the marketing for Europe is being driven out of our London office. And then here in San Francisco, we're basically responsible for all the North American marketing.
Well, it was quite easy for everything to come together because within Dead Rising there are a certain amount of pillars, we call them, that just obviously stand out as well. From a marketing point of view, this is the type of thing that we're going to build the campaign around.
We've got a website called tapeitordie.com where we've got 4 fictitious characters who are supposedly in the game world blogging about events as they happen. And when we presented the idea to the R&D team, they were actually so excited about it that they modeled these characters in the game and hid them in a location so you as the player can actually go in and find them.
With a game like Dead Rising 2, it really takes a lot of people from around the world. This is a real global game from every side. There's constant email, phone conversation, video conferences, every week in order to ensure a successful campaign.
We'll come in and we're catching the guys in the UK at the end of their day. And we'll kind of, work on some things with them, and then all of a sudden, as we're winding down, the emails start coming in from Japan because it's the start of their day. So it's almost like the development of Dead Rising 2 and all the elements associated with the campaign are on a 24-hour clock.
Working with all the different studios, this sort of worldwide global effort, it's kind of funny because it actually doesn't feel like anything culturally clashing. And I mean, everyone loves zombies, so everyone kind of comes forward like, what would be really cool is we do this. I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. That's rad, that's zombies.
The old way of designing games, where everything was basically designed in Japan, created in Japan, and then sold in the West, creates a gigantic gap of oceans between where the actual content is produced and where it is sold. And that makes for a very unnatural relationship and for sharing information.
Working with Capcom for us has just been like a huge honor to have that opportunity to sort of work on something that's important as Dead Rising.
They're working with us for the first time. We're working with them for the first time. They've had experience already working with Western development, so they've been through the ringer on things like translation and culture differences and so on. We had to learn that from scratch at the beginning. But very quickly what we found was that game design is sort of a universal language.
Even despite the language barrier, the communication that we have with Capcom is more than we've had with any other Western publisher.
Before long we found that translation wouldn't be required at times. You sit there and you sort of pitch an idea to the Japanese producers and you find that you're halfway through explaining it, or the translator is halfway through trying to translate what you've said, and they just stop you because they understand. And when you see the smiles and you see the thumbs up, you know that you've kind of hit the nail on the head with them.
With Capcom Japan and Blue Castle working together, we learn things every day, give back feedback, back and forth. It's been great.
The result of building that trust relationship first and really building on personal relationships as well has really resulted in probably the best publisher relationship we've ever had.
The reason why we decided to go with Blue Castle was when we first met them, they just felt like they, first of all, understood the brand and basically what Capcom's thinking was, and they brought a large amount of respect to that brand and franchise as well. So we just knew right off the bat that they were the right fit for the job.